Adventure Theater. My name is Stacy. My fellow trainers are Elisa and Meg. We have 4 of our 7 Atlantic bottlenose dolphins out here for you today, and we're going to start by introducing each of them to you. We're going to start off with the one I'm working with. She's affectionately known as the princess of the bunch. Her name is Ripley. Ripley gets her name from her dorsal fin on her back. It has a ripple effect to it, and that's how she got her name. And she's going to come, hopefully pop up on the slide out there and show off. Next up, we'll start over here with Meg. She's got Chemo. Chemo means Joker in Hawaiian, and he's pretty easy to tell apart because one, he is our subordinate male, and he's got more of a yellowish and orangish colored rostrum, which is the mouth on the front part of his face. Working over here with Elisa is Indy. Indy is our second oldest juvenile. She is pretty easy to tell apart because if you look at the front part of her mouth again, you'll see that she has more of an underbite. She's a lot lighter in coloration, and she has more of a crescent-shaped dorsal fin. And here's going to be a great look at Indy. Now, last but not least, was our firstborn dolphin here. Her name is Clay. She is 7 years old, and she is very spoiled. Her name means beloved in Hawaiian. She's very dark colored, short, stubby dolphin, and there's a gray hook and a lip. Now, something that's very important to us here at the Indianapolis Zoo is conservation. Believe it or not, what we do here today in Indiana does affect the animals, not only here, but across the world. So it takes everyone's help to help make this place a better place to live. Now, one of the things that you can do is, for instance, is recycle your soda bottles. Believe it or not, Coke is out there changing our soda bottles into t-shirts. These days, you can find them at different stores. That's a great way to recycle a product and then get reused again. When you're at home, don't have every light in the house on. You're using up a lot of energy. Believe it or not, turning it off does save you a lot of money and reduces a lot of our resources as well. Also, a lot of you who came in today got maps. All those maps out there can be recycled on your way out. You can nice little recycling as you exit the zoo. Now, doing all this stuff definitely takes a lot of time and work, but it does help our world be a better place. questions is how we train our animals. We use a method known as operant conditioning, which basically means we reward the things we like and ignore the things we don't like. What do you think a good reward would be for our dolphins? Fish is correct, and one of the things that we feed them is both bacon and herring. Now, when we do train the animals, when they do something correctly, you'll hear us blow a whistle. Now, the whistle means that they've done something correctly, and they'll get some type of reward. We already mentioned that there was fish. They can also get ice cubes. They can get some tactile, and they can even get a favorite toy as a way to reward them. Now, one of the most important behaviors that we do here are husbandry behaviors. That's where we are able to take better care of our animals. We're able to get blood done on them through the fins on the bottom. I'm sorry, through the tail fins here, in which we can go ahead and take a look at them. It's the easiest place to get the blood is in that fin as well. A little while ago, you saw Elisa getting in the water trying to do what we call length and girth on our dolphins. Now, the reason that we do this is to kind of measure their bodies out and see how big they're getting. Now, it's very important for the animals to be fairly large in case they were to get sick. That way, they would have a little bit of fat to live off if they were to stop eating at any time. Now, in training this, you just don't take a tape measure out and wrap it around the animals any time. It takes what we call desensitization to the animal. You first touch it to them, and then slowly work your way around, trying to get underneath their fins, and that way they can be comfortable. Now, every time we do this, you'll hear the whistle, and then we'll reinforce them with fish. There's also a lot of other behaviors that we're able to do with them as well, which are the show behaviors, like Meg's doing down at the glass with the spits. And we even get in water with our animals from time to time and swim with them. Now, we don't swim with them anytime we feel like it. We always do it in a very controlled type setting, and when the animals are with a trainer before them getting into the water. This is their home, and we do tend to respect them. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and turn it over to Meg, and she's going to talk about some anatomy.
All right, I have a question for you guys. Can you tell me, are dolphins fish or are they mammals? Shout it out. Good job. Dolphins are mammals, just like us. So we all share a lot of the same characteristics with dolphins. For example, can you guys all shout out what we breathe when we breathe in? What do we breathe? Oxygen or air. So dolphins also breathe that same oxygen or air, but instead of having their nose up on the front of their face, they have their nose up on top of their head instead. So that way they can skim over the surface of the water, get a quick breath of air, and then go back down underwater. So we're going to have them blow some bubbles for you guys so you can see where that blowhole is located. Now, another characteristic of mammals is that we all have hair. Now, some of us may have more hair than others, but we all do have hair somewhere on our bodies. But if you look at the dolphins in front of you, do they look hairy or furry? No, not exactly. It's a little bit of a trick statement. Dolphins don't have hair anymore. All of our dolphins here are pretty much bald. But when they were born, they did have hair on their mouth, which is called their rostrum, up on the top part of their rostrum. So it's a little bit like a mustache that they were born with. And then it fell out just a few days after they were born, never came back again. Now, another characteristic of mammals is when we are born, we give birth to our young live. We aren't born hatched out of eggs or anything like that. So our dolphins are also born live, and they're born tail first. And then once they are born, they are left behind with a belly button, just like we have right there in the center of their stomachs. You might be able to see that belly button. They have innies, not eyes. Now, another characteristic of mammals is that we all have bones in our body. That's what helps us keep our shape. We're called vertebrates. So dolphins also have a vertebrae that runs down their spine. And they also have bones in some of their flippers, but not all of their flippers. The only flippers that do have bones are those flippers on the sides of their bodies. They're called their pectoral fins. Those fins are used for steering, braking, waving hello in this case, different things like that. And actually, if you would take an x-ray of that pectoral flipper,